Well. Good afternoon, West Ham fans. Happy Tuesday afternoon. West Ham play Everton tomorrow night, 11:30 in the morning. I don't think I'll be doing a watch along for that. I do apologise, but I will have work in the morning. But we'll have all of the sort of aftermath of that review show, that type of thing, the next day. This morning, we spoke about Mads Hermansen being our number one. We're going to talk about goalkeeper as well in a minute. And then at lunchtime today, we did a little bit of a headlines roundup, talking about some of the players we've been linked with. Also talking about young Patrick Kelly, who's been moved on. He's now signed permanent deal with Barnsley. It's believed that also Mason Terry will be going out on loan as well to Braintree. On loan, he's been on loan to Concord Rangers and AFC Hornchurch, so sticking in the National League with Braintree this year. And I think you'll start seeing a lot more of the players, academy guys, going out on loan. I still think Orford and Casey will be going out on loan after the pre-season. So towards the end of August, I think that will happen, and maybe one or two more as well. But it is the ever popular Hammers Headlines in association with the lovely people at KUMB.com. But don't forget to check them out. Graham does a great job over there. And lots of news, reviews, opinions, forums as well. Maybe get the occasional ITK drop in there and give you his or hers 2 cents worth. But we've got 4 stories to talk about today. You lucky buggers. All transfer rumours, I believe. Let me just check. Yes, and I believe our 100 and might be 87th, maybe 188th player we have been linked with as well. So exciting times. Let's start with a new name unlocked, and it's a goalkeeper. Now we know it's believed that Zion Suzuki and Mads Hermansen are both our 2 choices. There was speculation about Michael Cooper from Sheffield United. That's apparently been debunked by a senior source. I still think Mads is the number 1 choice because a little bit more attainable and also a little bit less risk, I think, as well, in that he already has played in the Premier League and knows the goalkeeper coach. There's no adjustments to the Premier League. You could go and get Zion if we can afford him to come over and he wants to leave Parma. Yes, there is the advantage of him being an Asian-based player as well in terms of from a marketing perspective, but then he has to adjust, to the country and stuff, and we haven't had a lot of that. Now, I think not halfway house, but I think there could be an alternative, and that is buying someone like Mads and then buying someone like this gentleman, Pierce Charles. He's a 20-year-old goalkeeper from Sheffield Wednesday, and he became the number 1 towards the end of last season, having only made his senior debut in March. He went on to make 13 appearances in all competitions. Now, according to the Sheffield Star, West Ham are believed to be keen on signing the Northern Ireland international player. In the article, it says West Ham are considering making a move to sign him, however, are expected to be met with a reluctance to sell from the Owls, who not only see him as this season's number 1, but also a player that can grow exponentially in value. Very true. Very, very true. I think there's a slight gap, it seems, between the players so the goalkeepers ready and the goalkeepers that aren't ready. Yes, we've got a suite of very good goalkeepers in the academy. Finn Herrick, Mason Terry, Finley. We've got Laurie Owusu. I think he's a really good one. Christian Heggie. But none of them, for me, are ready to be stepped up into that sort of 3rd spot berth. Obviously, we still got Wedge Fodring in there as well. It wouldn't surprise me to see basically them go out and get Mads. You've got Areola for a couple of years as well, and then getting someone like Pierce Charles, maybe even a buy and loan back to Sheffield Wednesday, to get him so he's in the system already. That could be a clever bit of business. Depends about how much things happen and how much money is spent, but an interesting new name to add to the list, no doubt. let's talk about Douglas Luiz. Yeah, it's a Tuesday. Every day of the week we're talking about Douglas fucking Luiz. But according to Gazzetta dello Sport, they report that West Ham are prepared to wait until the end of the window to get a better deal for the 18-time capped Brazilian international. The idea is that Turin, who are said to be at risk, may accept a more reasonable fee when faced with the prospect of being stuck with him until January. It's also suggested that a high-cost loan deal with an option to buy may be on the cards. We were led to believe that Juventus were loosening their demands on Luiz, a bit similar to us, really, knowing, not a host of clubs are banging at the door to get him. And there was an option of a high loan deal with an option rather than obligation to buy. They want obligation, of course they do, because that's basically money in the bank. It's, buy now, pay later type thing. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Douglas Luiz. And I think what will be interesting to see from a West Ham perspective is, if another club come in for him, what do we do? Do we let that one go? Or do we go, or is he? Then you'll know if he's a genuine target for us or not. But again, it's all paper talk, isn't it? We know we've been linked to 187 players so far this year. So, this transfer window, not this year, this transfer window. So we've still got over a month left. We've still got four and a bit weeks left of the transfer window. So anything can happen in the next 24 hours, as per usual. What to talk about? I'll go talk about the last one last. That makes sense, because that's quite a bizarre story. But let's talk about Ben Doak, the Liverpool midfielder, 19-year-old Scottish midfielder. Has apparently emerged as a summer target. He's on Liverpool's books, but he spent last season out on loan at Middlesbrough. 3 goals and 7 assists in 24 appearances before a thigh injury permanently ended his campaign. He basically, I think he won EFL Young Player of the Month. I think it was in November or December time last year. Liverpool are said to be rating him at 25 to 30 million pounds, having already turned down offers in the region of 15 million pounds from Crystal Palace and Ipswich. Now, to be honest, Liverpool are going to get Isaac, and for me, he's not going to get into the Liverpool team, is it? So I think a permanent move will be on the horizon sooner rather than later. I also think that could be the case with Harvey Elliott as well, as we know, a player we've been linked with, and also Tyler Morton, a player we've been linked with. We haven't made a formal bid as of yet, but clearly his options are going to be very limited at Liverpool, and that may prompt him to not ask for a move, but be more open to a move in search of more consistent league action. He's only 19 as well. So, 15, 20 million quid doesn't seem, it seems decent money, I think. 25, 30, I think that's what they might want, but that's not what they're going to get for them. It's just not going to happen. Not going to happen in my eyes in terms of that. But again, we shall see. Is he a priority position for us at the moment? I don't think so. And for someone like Crystal Palace, if they sell, maybe Eze to Arsenal, which is a deal which is, being rumbles on, then they might invest that in someone like Ben Doak anyway. So, it might be out of our hands anyway in terms of that particular transfer target. And that's why I say, when we've been linked to 187 players, I never say we're going to buy all these players. That's 24, 5, 6, 7. That's over. It's almost 8 Premier League squads worth of players we've been linked with. And I think the trouble is them. I was talking about this at lunchtime with some of the guys in the office. Because we've been linked with so many players, they're going to go to other clubs, and we might have been linked, but if we were genuinely concrete bids, it's very different. Concrete interest, and so, and people go, "Oh, don't take any notice of these." If, for example, Ben Doak goes to Crystal Palace, right? First of all, says, "Oh, Palace did more. Palace is more attractive than us." And we might never be interested. We haven't made a formal bid for this gentleman, and it's just interest. And that's what I keep saying. People go, oh, this is bollocks. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to watch what you do. But we're trying to save you a job rather than having to sift through the pages. The last one's a really interesting one because Evan Ferguson last year did fuck all for us. But Evan Ferguson might allow us to buy a striker from Roma. Might. Obviously, Evan Ferguson scored 4 goals in his pre-season debut for Roma. And because of that, not just because of that, but because they have high hopes on Evan, he may help West Ham in the signing of Roma striker Artem Dovbyk. Now, Ferguson obviously joined. West Ham decided not to sign him on the permanent deal. Oh, that's surprising. But a report from Gazzetta dello Sport in their newspaper today as well claims that Artem could leave Roma after the Irishman has signed on loan, as he is not a guaranteed starter anymore. States that West Ham and Dirty Leeds are interested, and it could take a fee of around £30 million to attract Roma to sell him. Artem, for me, is a proven goal scorer at top level. Last year I think he got 12 goals and 2 or 3 assists in Serie A last year. The previous year, he was top goal scorer in La Liga, 24 goals, 8 assists in 36 matches for Girona. Because we were linked with Zorloff, wasn't he? Who was just below him in the goal scoring when he was at Villarreal. He can score goals. He's clinical. He is 28, though. That's a slight caveat in this. But particularly if we're not necessarily looking for a striker as a priority, this has presented itself quite nicely to West Ham in the most West Ham way. One of our flops from last year could become prime Ronaldo, R9 Ronaldo, for Roma, and that could invariably mean that Artem isn't getting a starting berth, and Roma are open to selling him in this transfer window. And it's an interesting, but if it was ever a soap opera type signing written by West Ham, this does seem it. I'm not getting too excited because, as I said, we've been linked to 187 players, but I really like him. I've always liked him as a striker for the last couple of years. Obviously followed him last year when he moved to Roma, watched a lot of him playing for Serie A. And you can see there's attributes which would definitely lend him to play in the Premier League, and ideally West Ham. We'll wait and see. We've obviously linked with Alexander Zorloff, weren't we, from Atletico Madrid, who moved in the summer to Villarreal, and obviously Artem went from Girona to Roma. Yeah, interesting to see what happens. Again, this, Roma we know have shown interest in. They've shown interest, obviously, in Emerson, former player. Lazio have shown interest in him as well. They've shown interest in 𝗛𝗦. I think also they've shown interest in Mavropanos. I mean, you could do it's pigs flying in the sky, but you could do Mavropanos, Emerson, plus money for Artem. In a beautiful world, that would get rid of not get rid of a lot of our problems, but move the likes of Mavon, who's not at the moment looking like he's going to be starting in that back three. I'd rather get rid of him than 𝗛𝗦, but that's just my own personal opinion. But let me know what you think. And don't forget to check out the friends at kneesatmybrand.com for latest news, reviews, and opinions. And if you like dogs and you like football, keep an eye on the channel. You want to see a picture of my dog? There's a picture of my dog in the 92-93 strip at Upton Park, and you could have your dog doing that too. All will be revealed in a few days' time. And that's it. Take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith, and I'll see you guys very soon. Much love. Bye.